There are many archaeological evidences here in this best candidate for Nephi's Bountiful in southern Oman, including this set of carved steps on this rock behind us, which were just discovered 2 days ago by a member of our party. And there are many things that you look for here, but these things just start to emerge as you're looking.
And so you begin to think about those distinguishing features that Nephi tells us. One of the things is that there is a mountain that he goes to, and he goes to the mount oft and prays oft. Now, we have an immediate idea that he must be going to the top of a mountain to pray oft. And we get that from good ideas. We know that Moses went to the top of Mount Sinai, and we think of the brother of Jared going to the top of a mount. So we have that really firm idea in our minds, but you have to begin to question all of your assumptions when you're looking to understand how something really might have happened.
Well, especially when you're right here in this best candidate, because you're going to look around for the very place that Nephi would have gone. And I think it's interesting, Rick, last night when we were talking about the record itself, because you have to base everything that you're looking for on the text of the Book of Mormon itself. That's all we have to go on for Nephi's family. And so I think it's interesting what we were discovering last night in the scriptures.
Well, Scott, it is interesting because we take for granted that they were going upon the mount, but perhaps they were going into the mount, as they were actually going into a cave or a complex inside the mountain in order to receive revelation.
Well, it's interesting you would say that, because as we started reading the text last night, he refers to the mount or the mountain 3 different times, and he uses the word into, just like you were just saying. He says, in that first reference, the Lord said unto him, arise and get thee into the mountain. Now, he didn't say go up onto the mountain. He said get thee into the mountain. And then he says in 1 Nephi 18:3, he says, and I, Nephi, did go into the mount oft and pray oft, wherefore the Lord showed unto me great things.
It's also interesting that it takes a bit of time to climb to the top of the mountain that we have here. Is Nephi going to be giving up a day every time he goes to pray? If he goes to the mount oft and prays oft? I find myself emotionally still attached to the idea that he went to the top of a mountain, because that's where you see prophets. But it tells you that you can't just trust what you're emotionally attached to. You have to begin to think about what's feasible for people who are really living.
And we went to this very specific mountain that's an obvious freestanding mountain in Bountiful, or in this best candidate for Bountiful. Yesterday we went there and we hiked from the top. There's a 4-wheel drive road that goes to the top of the plateau, and then we hiked, a number of us hiked all the way down through the cliffs and through all of the trees and brush, and it's sometimes a very precarious hike. And we were thinking about Nephi, Rick, the whole way, because we were thinking, if he's coming up here oft to pray oft, this is one very difficult hike to get up to. We were glad we were going down, but it was a very tough hike. Are you feeling the same thing about assumptions? Do we have to be very careful about how we make our assumptions, Rick?
Absolutely. We have a whole history of making assumptions on the Book of Mormon and where its location is, and then making trailing assumptions based on those first ones without any real evidence, just a basic idea. Well, this feels good, so this has to be Bountiful, or well, this feels good, so this has to be Zarahemla. And then we build whole models on those assumptions. And if we're right, we're good, but if we make a mistake, we're way off the path.
Well, so again, here in Bountiful, there is a place somewhere here where Nephi went into the mount oft and prayed oft, and the Lord showed unto him very great things.
Somewhere here or near to here. You really have to question every assumption.